Hey everybody, Master, back with Marvel Heroes. And this time we got Magic on the chopping block. And I got a new build for the new character, and I call it Darkchild. And going straight into it. Um, before I go straight into it, I'll do a little talk. I mean, she's obviously unpolished. She came off the 10th center awfully quick. I mean, she's on there for like, what, a week and a half. This whole defense system rework was on there for a week and a half. Do whatever Cosmic Gate trial that you want to do it now. Had trouble with anybody, you're going to get it through. Um, it's definitely far easier to play this game now than it has ever been because of that. So we'll just go into her build, and a lot of the flaws that have come out with her will come up. That being said, I know it sounds like I'm saying bad things about her. She's pretty awesome. I mean, really, she's pretty awesome. She does lots of stuff. She's like the monk from Diablo 3 way back in the when. You play Exploding Palm, and just everything in the screen evaporates. I mean, it's literally that sick. And that's exactly what happens. And then add on it, you got a big freaking pet, you got little freaking pets, you got another pet that you just summon up. You do all kinds of crazy damage. It's crazy. Bosses melt. You're going to love her if you got her. If you don't have her, you're probably going to want her. Even though she's bugged and she's got tons of bugs. So, that being said, for the Darkchild build, we're going to do 20 points into Soul Cleaving. This does a pretty good amount of mental damage. It deals extra damage for each summoned lesser demon or spitting demon, and it deals 25% extra damage for the Fists of Naster or Naster itself summoned. Attacks pretty fast, does pretty good damage, costs a lot of spirit for how fast it attacks. So one of the problems with uh, Magik is she's very spirit intensive. So, when we're rune wording Spirit of the Soul, for me, it's mandatory. I tried going DPS routes, and it was awful. I stay with River of the Soul, even though some of her kit has spirit cost reduction. It's just no fun without it. I'd rather have fun and then try to maintain spirit. So with the pets, this is going to be a pet build. This soul cleaving ends up doing a lot of extra damage. We're going to do 20 points to Mastery of the Soul Sword. This is our damage buff passive effect. It does damage rating, crit hit rating, critical damage rating, and damage reduction of 8% for 4 seconds when you hit with a melee power, and it gives a summon ally damage. Now, we're going to get into command. Command is kind of like a lot like the old Cyclops was, where you had points to spend for different abilities, different effects. In this case, you can summon monsters with command, or you can summon special passive effects. Personally, I think the passive effects are kind of garbage, so I would go with the summoned abilities. Maybe the Eldritch Armor passive effect, which gives you 5% extra defense rating, that might be okay. But Mastery of the Sword does have a toggle on, which takes 3 command away, and it gives you 5% to melee powers. That's alright, but melee powers really isn't where the damage is at, and you'll see it once I go into the Cosmic and kill Dr. Octopus. It's just not where the damage is at. It's crazy. So we're going to do 20 points into it, though, because it does buff everything that we want to buff. We're going to do 20 points into Soul Sever. This is where the damage is at, and it is a melee. So I suppose, you could toggle on and get 5% out of it, but you don't really need it. The execute's really where the damage is built into it. It's an execute ability, 1% damage for 1% of the target's missing health. It does a pretty good damage as its own. And it gains 1 charge whenever your summoned demons strike an enemy. However, there's a 2-second internal cooldown. And what it doesn't say is it needs a charge to be used. So actually it's got a 2-second cooldown on top of it. It consumes all charges on use, and the power always deals a critical if it consumes 5 charges. So It sounds great, like you should save up those 5 charges and everything like that and get that extra 75% damage, and then you always deal a crit. However, I found that waiting 10 seconds to use that skill just to get a big crit is a waste of time. You spam this sucker whenever it comes up, and you start laying waste. I mean, you whittle down bosses like they are paper mache. I mean, they go down, and it's crazy how fast they go down. I mean, it's awesome, and I'll show it in action. And then we're going to do 20 points into the Fists of Nastor. Now, the Fist of Nastor, instead of Nastor himself, because he's kind of more rangy, and Nastor is a tank. And what's great about Nastor himself is he's got ability that you can activate that will taunt enemies. And he'll taunt them for 5 seconds on an 8-second cooldown. So basically, he can taunt everything while you're mealing around. You'll have somebody that can taunt as well. You'll take a lot of damage away from yourself, so it really helps out. But he does a ton of damage on top of it. He's got a big health pool. He's pretty awesome. We're going to do 20 points into, well, this is called Back from Limbo. I forgot what it's called on the other side, but basically it's like Emma Frost's power, where you do damage over time to an enemy and then you charm it, and then the enemy's is yours to command. Looks like a little pet. In this case, it goes to Limbo, and then you summon it from Limbo. And what it, on the other end of the skill, what it doesn't tell you is that it's got a 10-second duration and a 30-second cooldown, and it does massive damage while it's out. So it's sort of like Emma Frost's pet, but it's more like Emma Frost's buff when the pet's out. Like the pet's out and it's kind of useless until you hit the taunt button. It's kind of like that. It's got the taunt and the pet worked in together. It's a pretty cool skill. However, it doesn't tell you exactly how it works until you get a pet, which kind of sucks, which is part of why I was saying, they didn't really think it through of how to tell you what's happening with Magik skills. Like, for instance, why would you waste 3 command points on 7 League Step getting a longer cooldown just because it bounces 4 extra times? Half the time it doesn't bounce enough, or it bounces too little as it is. There's not enough enemies on the screen to bounce enough. It's just not a good skill. And then with the execute on Soul Sever, yeah, it's great, but 10 seconds is a long time to wait to hit that critical. Who cares? I have enough crit. Odds are I'm going to crit anyways. I don't want to wait 10 seconds for a guaranteed crit. Are you kidding me? I'm sitting at 50% crit. I can hit it 5 times in the time that it takes that thing to get to a guaranteed crit. I'm guaranteed 2.5 crits in that time. I just, weigh 2.5 times my damage. Just instead of sitting there, I probably quadrupled my damage by sitting there tapping it whenever it's up instead of waiting 10 seconds. That's just not well thought of. But she's still awesome, don't get me wrong. I'm just pointing out the flaws and why she was way rushed, and she shouldn't have been rushed. And I'm sick of them rushing everything, and this is why they're getting really bad name. So we're going to do 20 points into Otherworldly Nova. This is actually a skill that was well thought of. This does awesome damage. It applies a damage over time effect of a vampiric incantation. I will go over vampiric incantation in a second. It is the best skill in her kit. This is probably the second best skill in her kit. This is just an awesome signature ability. Your demon minions deal 100% extra damage for 8 seconds. You regenerate 30% of your health and your spirit. Well, that's at 20 ranks anyways, and it's on a 30-second cooldown. It's just a great signature ability. This was well thought of, and this is another well thought of skill, vampiric incantation. This puts a dot on there that does great damage. It regenerates health and restores spirit when you hit the affected enemy. It slows the enemy a considerable deal. Attack and movement speed slow. It makes them vulnerable so they take extra damage. It weakens them so they deal less damage to magic and the demons. And if you kill well, that's because I have weaken on, but if you kill the affected mob while this buff is active, it does explosion damage as well. And that's if you take weaken. Now you can also take amplified damage, which instead of the mob exploding on impact and reducing the damage affected enemies deal, you can then increase all damage Magik deals to the demons, or you can take the specialization Confuse, which if you're going to be ranged, if you hit it with a sorcery power, this works as a passive and automatically gets applied. You don't have to apply this, you automatically apply. Like say if you're hitting Spirit Fangs, it's a sorcery, automatically applies Vampiric Incantation. However, you don't get the explosion if they die. See? Weaken is awesome. It's definitely the way to go. If you heard a beep, that's just my headphones saying it's dying. So we're going to do 20 points in Vampiric Incantation. It's a must. Also, we got to do 1 point in Eldritch Armor. This is a defensive buff. With the defense changes, we have no need to put tons of points in there. The rest of the points are going to go into lesser demons. I haven't gotten all her points yet. I would suggest getting all her points if you're going to play her a lot or main her. I plan on getting all her points, at least 10 of them, so I can max this out and round them out. I'm going to have 3 demons and 1 Fists of Naster. The demons basically make the soul cleaving do 15% extra damage, and they're fodder. And that's basically it for the Darkchild build. Now going into gearing, well actually going into bar setup, I put soul cleaving on my left mouse button. Right mouse button is stepping disc, which is a teleport. Probably one of the best teleports out there. The damage part of it has a 3-second cooldown. Who cares? I mean, you can just teleport all over the place, and you can teleport far. You can teleport through everything. It's crazy. It's awesome teleport. Then I have Vampiric Incantation. Most of the time I'm killing trash and other mobs with Vampiric Incantation. If I hit them with anything else, I'm hitting them with Soul Sever. I actually kill things with 1 charge of Soul Sever. Fist and Naster, just to taunt things if there's a lot of things out there. Sometimes I'll hit them with Soul Cleaving because I'm targeting them with the mouse anyways. I might as well press the button. I will Otherworldly Nova if there's a lot of blues or something around or it gets really dangerous, but most likely I'm teleporting around and just putting Vampiric Incantation around and letting the dot melt away and the explosion destroy. Then I have Back from Limbo, which summons the extra add, and that destroys things. So, going into gearing. I have a Blessed Mental Focus headband. They're all blessed with healers. This gives us mental damage rating, power radius, which is actually kind of nice, and +2 energy. So that's a beautiful thing. I got a Blessed Gem of the Curse. Obviously crit damage, brutal strike damage, crit chance, brutal strike chance. I got an odd thing here, Dr. Doom Medallion. The incantation and the Back from Limbo both say don't say that they're not affected by summon duration. So I went with the Dr. Doom Medallion so I can get some extra power duration out of those skills. Plus, it's got health, and I'll take the health. And a cower, just in case the Fist of Naster is not getting its attention and it comes to me, I'll make him cower in fear of me, because, well, I'm magic. I got a Blessed Armor issued Nano Poison, gives me +2 fighting and some extra brutal strike chance, +1 to all powers. Because I used a Blessed Mental Headband to buff me, I'm going to buff my pets with a Blessed Armor Alternate Reality. Chaos Portal. The health is kind of important, but obviously more important is the damage. And by health, I mean the summon ally health, not the health that it actually provides to magic. I got the Magic Now costume. I like it better. And it's fully loaded with crit. I got a 3-to-1 core, 25% health, 100 spirit on medkit use with +1 fighting, and 400 health when I hit with an enemy. I'm using Gugner. Why? Because it buffs magic skills, her melee skills, her range skills, her area skills, and her pets all at the same time. It's kind of like the logical choice. Seeing how we're so crit centric, we're going to use Relics of Atlantis, critical damage and health. Why not? I got Insignia Nick Fury. Some of this is going to seem strange, but obviously +1 intelligence and summon damage makes a lot of sense. Gives me another cannon fodder shield agent to come out there. It gives me critical hit rating and gives me damage rating to area powers. Vampiric Incantation is an area power, so it actually works kind of well. Now, nothing's ranged on here, and this Ultron Silver is really geared up for ranged, but it is +3 energy and energy buffs mental damage, and we are all mental damage, so that's why I have the Ultron Silver pet. I got a Bloodstone Demon Band with mental damage, summoned ally damage, intellect, health, and durability, and +1 to all powers. It's actually a really good demon band for her. I got a River of Soul on the defensive Uru. I've already stated why. You're going to need that spirit. We got the Phoenix Enhanced Soul Sword. It's got 800 damage rating, 960 critical damage rating, 840 brutal damage rating, +2 fighting, 756 melee damage rating, and 147 crit rating when you hit with a melee power for 5 seconds on a 5-second cooldown. That's always active. I don't know why they do this little proc thing. It's always going to be there. 1680 health, +6 to all magic soul sword powers, +5 to ranks to melee powers, +2 ranks to mastery of the soul sword. This thing is just awesome. Phoenix Force Harness. Now this is where we're going to get weird into this whole new defense system. This is our damage reduction, and damage reduction is supposed to be our gauge of how much damage we're actually going to shed. Personally, I think this is how much damage we reduce from incoming damage, whether or not it's dodge, deflection, or armor. So if I get hit right now and they hit me for 100, I think I take 95 damage. That's what I think, but I could be wrong. Phoenix Force Harness gives me 8.4% damage reduction, 1380 health, 319 critical hit rating, 280 brutal strike rating, a whole bunch of procs, 10% spirit cost reduction, +2 to all powers, +2 ranks to Eldritch Armor, +3 ranks to Vampiric Incantation, and it's got a challenge bonus of +1 durability. It's pretty nice. And then one of the big procs, which is always going to be up, is +3 energy and +3 intelligence for 5 seconds on a 5-second cooldown. That's what I mean. It's always going to be up. 32% chance to proc it. I mean, just put it on there. Mantle of Limbo Queen. 5.5% damage reduction, reduced cooldown of Otherworldly Nova by 2 seconds, 426 mental damage, 1500 health, 368 brutal strike damage, or rating, 1000 brutal strike damage, 26% summoned ally damage, +2 ranks to all powers, +8 ranks to Otherworldly Nova, +4 ranks to other Eternal Servitude, +1 durability as a challenge bonus. Earth 4210 boots, 5.4% damage reduction. Sense a theme. 9.2 summon ally attack speed, 299 crit rating, 154 brutal strike rating, 25% summon ally damage. When you hit with a sorcery power, your melee attacks grant you 400 defense, 300 brutal strike rating, and with melee powers, and 4.1% damage versus bosses for 10 seconds. That's always going to be up because you're always using Vampiric Incantation. Restore 5 spirit on hit. That's awesome. Very important. You're going to need it. Like I said, spirit heavy. +2 ranks to all powers. +4 ranks to demon powers. +6 ranks to all magic limbo powers. Pretty awesome. Ileana's Soul Armor, 5.3% damage reduction, 1063 health, 360 crit rating, 928 critical damage rating, couple procs here and there, chances to ignore some damage, +3 intellect, that's pretty awesome, +2 to all powers, +3 ranks to magic powers, +4 ranks to sorcery powers. So a pretty strong kit altogether. Now let's go put it to use and annihilate a cosmic Dr. Octopus. Just for your entertainment and mine. And, well, everybody wonders why I do Dr. Octopus. I don't like him. He's my favorite. I've been doing him since day one. And if I want to kill him, I might as well. Now, most of these are just vampiric incantations being dropped on them. I can see everything explodes. Sometimes I swipe at him with the sword. Oh, wait, yeah, you want to make sure it's cosmic. Oops, I passed it. There it is, Cosmic Bounty Hunter. You want to make sure you're staying mobile, though. You don't want to get trapped. You're not exactly the tank. Because, you know, I'm moving ahead of my pets, and they're really the ones that want to take the damage. Or you want to take the damage. Oh, I got a Eternity Splinter somewhere. I need some more mobs. It's only 2. I need like 20.
Please understand, this is not about you. My demonic side is getting the best of me.
There we go. Isn't this teleport awesome? Told you it's the best teleport in game. Now I just put the incantation up, taunt it, hit it with the execute, get my pets up, put my signature out, and then I just keep executing. Whenever that execute up, I'm just hammering the execute. Look at that thing go down. Why would I wait 10 seconds? The thing died faster than 10 seconds. It makes no sense.
If only I were so lucky all of the time.
Let's see if I got anything good. No, just boxes. I don't need that. Lesser Demon Magic. Well, I guess I'll take that. At least now I got 2 cubes. And that's it. So I hope it helps. Hope you guys enjoyed. That's the Darkchild build. Absolutely annihilates stuff. And you're going to love it. I'm going to love her. Just got to deal with some bugs until I fix them. You know, I'll be over the next 2 weeks or so. So, like I said, hope it helps. Hope you enjoy it, and talk to everybody real soon.